to talk about this. I think we need more of this, what this gentleman's decided to do. And I don't know how he does it because I don't think I could do this job and deal with people like this. I did work in retail way back when I was really, really young, right out of
Mm-hmm.
high school. But man, this guy, I'm going to make this a little bigger for everyone to see. But this guy's got he's a good guy. I don't know how he does it because I couldn't do it. But I want to share this because it is the guy the checker guy, how he deals with these customers. I wish everybody could get this class from this guy to learn how to not get angry and throw a tantrum. But here we go.
What up, man?
What's up, bro? Hey, man, I got 50 cents, bro.
You want a straw too?
Shit, man. Something. Appreciate
Oh,
you, bro.
With a canned
You need a
drink.
what?
$10 bill.
You need a $10 bill for this?
Yep.
And then yeah.
There you go.
What the hell?
Damn.
Wow.
Chips.
Here you go.
How much is it?
Oh, 50 cents, bro. Thank you, man. There you go. You want another one? That's 50 cents, bro. Okay. There you go. Have a good day.
Absolutely.
I loved it
Absolutely.
because if everyone could just realize that all we have to do is try to be polite, but treat them the same way they're treating you so they can see what an ass they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the fact that he shaked that guy's Coke up and then handed it to him because he was being a douche, I don't know. I just thought that
You
was
want a
like
straw with
kudos.
that?
Yeah, kudos to that guy. I really do wish more people could get a better attitude like that guy had. I mean, you have to keep that job and do that every day. You have to be able to control your temper. I definitely could see him driving through bad traffic and not, having road rage. I couldn't do it. I would have. Oh, I don't know what I would have done with some of those people. They were so rude. Just little things like the wadded up $1 bills. Oh,
Yeah.
irritating.
Or here's your money, but it's way out here, and so he puts his money where he has to reach in.
Yeah, making him have to bend over the counter or something. I don't know. It just, to me, it's all sketchy. It's scary in a way, but
Yeah.
I just thought it was great. There's a
Well,
few
it's not
things
the
like that.
it's not the greatest job, and I mean, you never know when you're going to be held up or somebody's going to,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's bulletproof glass, but they could always.
No, it was a plastic wrap. As you could look, it looked like plastic wrap that he'd cellophane like he'd put back and forth over that, just to keep people, I guess, from coughing on them or whatever.
Was it? Was it?
That's
really?
what it looked like
okay,
to
I
me.
totally mentioned that. I mean, I
that
totally
was,
missed that.
But this right here was another one. I'm playing a couple fun things, to cover us up for some of the shit that we're gonna get pissed off about. And when I do have some good stuff, I try to share it. But this is a really cool, and I thought some of you guys that like rap music and stuff would really like this. It says Twista. This guy's name's Twista, is rapping. Okay, overnight celebrity. I guess that's the name of the song. While someone shoots a gun to match the song's beat, so they're recording, and this guy's got like two ARs, and he's shooting it to the music. It's really cool, and I thought you guys would get a kick out of it. So I'm going to play this for you. Make sure it's turned up. But this is really
Maybe
good.
he'll hit.
And you know you get him on the bloody road. He was gonna be a pro, pose take a photo. And I love you cause you're freaking with the dope go. Drop it to the flow, when you go slow. And I love it when I hit it from the back. And you get on top of me, I have a brother on the oh. Well, I know how you roll me right. I can make you a celebrity overnight. Play something that's so alive. Try whips, I know they lie. Twister, you told her right. I can make you a celebrity overnight. Give you ice like Kobe, right? We sorta like Kobe. ride with the body. And now she gon' put a hurt in her in the party. And you
I just thought that was amazing. I've never seen anything like it. Have you guys seen anybody do anything like that before?
No,
I seen
he's
somebody
probably
try to do
recording
something
it.
like that, and they shot themselves in the foot in a video.
Well, this guy was smart because he hired a professional, it looks like. And the guy put the headphones on and he's listening to him sing with the music and stuff, and he's shooting the weapon. I bet they had fun doing it. I bet they had a really good time. But I thought it was really cool. I shared the that video in the chat for you guys, so you could get it and share it with your friends, because I just thought it was really neat, because you just don't see that. But it's nice to see them working together, so that they can have it, and it's cool. I mean, I've never heard of it, so maybe he'll get a big hit out of it, simply because he chose to do something so cool to add to his music. But I think here's one more good thing for our military, because you guys know how I love our military, and I love seeing good things happen. I named it Protecting from Beyond and Here. Basically protecting our country, but also protecting his family. So I want you guys to see this. Is really cool. This guy's deployed, and he's using, I guess, their camera, the security camera. And now watch what he does. It's really good.
We say, who is that out there flirting with my wife?
Oh, I'm just an Instacarter, no flirting. She wanted to see my baby. No, the wife is in the car, babe. My wife's in the car. I took the trash out, though. Have a good one. I know you're deployed. Thanks for keeping us safe. He said, who's out there flirting with my wife? Hey, say hi, Katie. The military guy. Have a good one. You better
Have a good one, brother.
Oh, romantic is that. I love that. Because so many people right now, as we're having this show, don't realize that husbands and wives are deployed for whatever reason for our government, to defend us in whatever manner, to protect our people that are in another base somewhere, things like that. And this guy's deployed, and he sees this guy hanging out with his wife, taking out her trash and doing all this stuff. I just think it's great. I think he probably knows who he is and all that stuff, but I just thought it was great. And it made me happy to see that he still loves his woman and wants to take care of her, even though he can't be there in person. So I just wanted to share that. That was really heartwarming thing, because I adore our military, and we wouldn't have freedom if it wasn't for them. But we have a couple of good stuff tonight, I think, to talk about. We always do, because there's always shit. We're never going to run out of it. But this is something that I think is starting to show that we're going to have a little bit of a turnaround, because, it seems like the coast, California coast with Oregon and Washington State is really bad off. And then the other coast is got some bad spots, right? But this I thought was interesting. It says in Seattle, armed carjackers met their match as a licensed gun owner turns the tables, shooting the thugs who are now in critical condition and are not expected to survive. So a victim that's armed and prepared flips the script. And I just wanted to share this news casting that you're talking about what happened, because I think this is good. And I think people should have this on the news to see that American people have the right to bear arms and protect themselves from thugs and criminals, especially when you have mayors and governors that don't want to protect you. They just want to protect the thugs. So I thought this was important to share. So here we go.
Seattle police detectives are investigating a pair of weekend carjackings. One of them ended with 2 of the carjacking suspects shot. That one happened early Sunday morning in Belltown. SPD says 4 armed suspects wearing masks approached a driver. Police shared a photo from the scene along First Avenue near Blanchard Street. The driver pulled out a gun of his own and shot at them. 2 of the suspects ran off. 2 others were hit. At last check, they are both in serious condition at Harborview Medical Center. Police questioned the victim after the shooting, then released him. They say he is a licensed gun owner. Seattle police detectives are investigating a pair of weekend carjackings.
Sorry, I had to go back to the other thing, but yeah. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think that we're going to start seeing an upturn in this type of behavior for people protecting themselves in these states that seem to have, run amok governors and mayors?
I hope so. I mean, to quote Tombstone, send them to hell in a shutter.
Well, yeah.
Well, I think it's very important because it's consequences. And here's the problem: what you have when you have a lot of people that live in a lawless society and they think they could just get away with everything that, whatever that they want to get away with. If they don't think there's going to be any real consequences to their actions, especially if they know the people in charge are going to like slap them on the wrist and just re-release them again, like we see them doing so often, especially on the West Coast, with a lot of the way those governors and mayors have been acting. This is actually going to be a deterrent for a lot of them, because then they're going to be wondering, well, is that next guy going to be armed? It's going to make them think twice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, think about the two friends that actually escaped. They're like, yeah, Johnny and Tommy, they got shot. They died.
Mm-hmm. And the uproar that we had beginning with the young woman that was murdered on the subway train, and finding out that guy had been released like 30-something times for other criminal acts. I think people are getting fed up. And I'm not saying they didn't say anything about the guy being what race he was, the guy that shot these people, or whether he was a Democrat or Republican or a Nazi or, whatever, or a fascist that they use all the time, it seems like, in the news. They made sure that the people knew that this guy was a registered gun owner and he was not breaking the law and that he had the right to defend himself. And if more criminals start realizing that people like us are fed up, and they're going to be a little more careful about who they decide to pick on. You know what I mean? I'm hoping they'll start thinking twice, because it's time for us to take back our cities and our towns and to start fighting back. I really do. And I think the fact that it came from Washington State is one of the reasons why I went, wow, I was really surprised, because you just hear nothing but hate from, it seems like, from both coasts. Everybody in the middle is a bunch of pigs, and we don't have the right to vote, and all this kind of stuff. It's just you get sick of it. You get tired.
We were nearly 100% pro self-defense at one time.
I know we used to be, but
you have a right to protect yourselves and your loved ones.
I think so.
And they're trying to jack his car.
I'm thankful that he was able to defend himself and that he didn't get hurt doing it. But I'm glad to see that he was on the news and that they were. It seemed like they were fair, on their reporting.
If you want to act like an animal, you'll die like an animal, or at least maybe get wounded. Or I'm not. I mean, there's non-lethal stuff out there. If they would have caught pepper spray to the face, but this sends the strongest message that if you mess around with the mousetrap, you might get clamped.
Yeah, that's right.
But without taking home the cheese.
This next thing I wanted to bring up was the one thing that I didn't agree with, because everybody's always saying that I agree with everything that this administration says. Well, guess what? I don't agree that Grok rocks. What do you guys think of Grok?
I won't touch it.
Yeah, I don't think it's very good, because one of the things that I know right now, remember, if you went to any of these spaces that Elon went to, he was running a lot of spaces at the beginning when spaces started, and he talked about getting AI to help run this app, or not this app, but X. And I was like, that doesn't sound good to me. And I can tell. I have so many bots, on a weekly basis, sending me messages about, whatever. Doesn't matter. I don't want messages from them. And I have it set that I'm not supposed to get stuff from people, from especially stuff like that. And I report everything. Like the other day I posted, let's see, it was something about, I tagged Pete Hegseth on it and said that this guy was pretending to be a lieutenant general in the Army. And when I typed in that real general's name, there was like 37 fake accounts on X. The fact that there's that many fake accounts and it has followers and they're talking to people, and this guy blocked me because it says right there, because once I sent him, I said, it's against the law to impersonate an officer. Now, if he was a real lieutenant general, what do you think would have happened?
Yeah.
Have a blue check mark at least or something, right? Or he would have said, well, here's my proof or some kind of proof, because he could prove it. But he couldn't, so he blocked me because he knew I knew that he was fake.
Well, same way with me. There was a editor writer for Marvel Comics or something. Somebody using his name on Facebook of all places, and it just turned out to be somebody trying to sell me something, or a bot.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sick of it. But the thing is, I pay for a check mark so that I can stream on X. That's the only reason. That's why I bought it. So I could stream on X and be able to use the studio and just X. I don't have to use this service or anything like that to do it. I wanted the means to be able to do whatever type of stream that I decide to do, and having a blue check mark I thought would make that difference. But every time I post anything, I get a little thing that pops up. Do you want to promote your post so you can get more views and blah, blah, blah? And I was like, so they're wanting more money from me every month for that. And the fact that, I don't have 5 million impressions in so many days, I'll never be monetized. You see what I mean? So it's like, forget it. I'm not doing it for that. I'm trying to promote my YouTube channel, my Rumble, and my other stuff, my TikTok, because I have, quite a few followers on TikTok. I'm doing really well.
And your right to free speech.
Well, yeah, that too. But the fact that I'm paying them, you'd think that at least they could do is keep the spam out of my box and all.
Yeah, well, I mean, nobody's ever going to keep 100% of it out, but they could probably do a better job, right?
I get 5 or 6 or more a week, and guess what? I report all of them. Every single one I report. So I try to help. I try to be, even though my sister just says, I just block them. She doesn't even. And I said, yeah, but look they got 35 people following them. So, and did you go through? And some of them are your friends that they probably got them off your list of people that you follow. And so then I'll copy that. I'll take a picture and I'll send it in the DM group saying, look, this guy's a scammer. So don't,
on
block
your
this guy.
traded information.
I just do the best I can because I try to make it safer for other people.
Well, I mean, that's a big issue when they're profiling you.
Mm-hmm.
Not just on X, but everywhere.
Yeah.
It shows you the power of information if they're willing to trade it. What you like, what you dislike, what are your habits, when are you going to be out of the house, when are you going to be in the house, and then China also with our cell phones, every time you turn on the flashlight app, it knows when it's turned on. It knows if you're at home, out and about, where exactly you are when you turn the flashlight on.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just wanted to play this interview with our vice president, and they're talking about Grok, and that's why I said, I think Grok sucks, but they're going to brag about him. So here you go.
Are you as obsessed with AI as I am?
I am.
Okay, I don't know. I'm a Grok guy.
Okay. Me
so
too. I'm a Grok guy.
You're a Grok guy. Okay, Elon. I think it's the best.
I think it's the best. It's also the least woke. I'm always asking myself if I ask an AI a question, is it going to give me an objective answer?
If the vice president puts it in extreme mode,
answer.
If you put it in extreme mode just for kicks and giggles, it's a little. Well, if you want,
I have not, Sean. I don't want the media to attack.
If you want to know the neighborhood that Donald Trump grew up in and the kind of language you probably heard every day, you put it in extreme mode. It's pretty funny.
I could tell it's talking like my grandmother, and then we'd be in good shape.
Well, are you as obsessed with?
But this is cringe, but I'm going to share it anyways because I don't really care for Grok. I think Grok really isn't as good as, as he he thought it would be by now or whatever, because it still can't listen very well. It doesn't. I've got a couple friends that have conversations with it a lot, trying to get it to answer questions and stuff, and it can't do certain things right, get it right and stuff. So in a way, I'm kind of glad, because if this is how smart all AI is, then I don't think we're going to have that much of a problem with it. Honestly.
Well, I know there's been a few people they've asked it questions and they've gotten different responses. Sometimes Grok will even contradict itself.
Yeah, quite often, multiple times over the same exact questions. So I just think it's funny, but the only way they learn is from us, and if we're not perfect, and then I don't think AI will ever be perfect. So there's always going to be flaws, just like what we were talking about earlier. But here's the next thing I thought was pretty interesting. Let's see, I think it's this one. Yeah, here it is. This I thought was important because I've talked about this a few times about how I feel about riding in an Uber car. If you call like a company and they send you a taxi, I feel safer because there's more regulation with whose taxi, it is. But getting into a person's car just because they signed up for an app to make money, I just have a hard time with. But I wanted to play this for you. It says, police officers warning teens and women about a new safety threat. If you're taking a taxi or Uber and the driver offers you a bottle of water, don't accept it. There have been instances where the drinks were found to be laced with drugs. So, but also if you're a guy, I still wouldn't do it either. Don't take any drinks, food or drinks from any of these people. Use common sense, like your grandma and your mama used to tell you, don't trust strangers. You know what I mean?
Well, but Janet, but what if Rex is looking for a really crazy night out on the town? I mean, do you really want him to not have that because of the water?
Yeah, I'm just trying to let you know, you should be very careful and be very selective about, just take a bottle of water with you in your bag. But here you go.
All the women and teens out there that take Ubers and taxis everywhere just was made aware of a new danger that's going on. You might want to listen up. So one of the new things now they're doing is as soon as you get in the vehicle, they will try to offer you a water. And a lot of times what they've done is they have taken a needle and they have injected the bottle with just a little bit of fentanyl or whatever it is they decide to use to try to make you lethargic or knock you out of some type. So due to this fact, I would advise you that when you get into a vehicle of any type that is not your own vehicle and that you don't know the person that you're getting in, do not take any food or any drink that they offer you, because right now, nowadays, it's just not safe, and you don't know if they've laced it with something. And again, they can put it in with a needle. A lot of times now what they're saying is to be able to test it, and if somebody gives you want to take the water, I wouldn't, but if you did, squeeze the bottle. If water starts leaking out of it, that's a sure sign that they've already laced it with something. So my best advice is, ladies and teens, if you're getting into a vehicle and you don't know the person that is behind that wheel, do not take any food or drink from them. Anyway, this is my best advice, and I hope y'all take care and stay safe out there.
Yeah, and I recommend guys too, because just because you're a guy, that doesn't mean that they won't drug you. They could drug you, take you somewhere, dump you off, and rob you. Okay, or take you to their friends and dump you off with their friends that are going to rob you. And maybe if they have your driver's license and your address, they'll go to your house and rob you. So it just don't risk it. It's not worth it. It's not worth. You just don't know. I just don't trust people. Sorry.
Yeah, you don't want to wind up like the people on Bad Santa, because we know what he did to everybody on Bad Santa.
What happened on Bad Santa? I didn't see that movie.
Oh, you didn't see that? Oh, yeah. Billy Bob Thornton's character, he hits everybody from behind on Bad Santa. So.
Oh. Like, does he take their kidney and leave them in the bathtub of ice or something?
No. He just he gets them from the rear, Janet.
Oh, okay. I get it now. Yeah. I thought when you said he gets him behind that he would knock him on the back of the head. That's what I thought. But
Well, I mean, this is an old problem too, right? I mean, that's what Cosby, I mean, would lace drinks and whatnot. I mean, that's been going on for a lot. It's just spiking right now,
mhm.
I'm sure. But I mean, he said something new out there. This isn't so new, but it's spiking again. Spiking drinks.
Well, this is the other thing right here. Oh, I guess I better open it. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it? Or is it still no, it's not over there. Hold on. I gotta close that and open it again. Sorry. It was still in the message thing. I hadn't taken it out. So now let me make sure. Okay, here it is. This is great news. I was really happy with this. During the shutdown, okay, why our people, I was so thankful they didn't cave in to the Democrats of making sure that illegals didn't get any more money. This is Secretary Kristi Noem, and she's handing out $10,000 bonus checks to the Houston TSA workers who stepped up and showed up to work during the Democrat shutdown. Even though they weren't getting paid and they didn't know how long it was going to last, they still went to work to make sure that people were able to get on flights and do things like that. And they decided to give bonuses. This is another thing that's great because of the tariffs. They're using the tariffs, and I'm sure they're going to do it with other areas too, not just Houston, but where the big hubs were to keep the flights going. Because a lot of people I know saying, well, we're going to probably have to cancel our flights to the wedding, which is next week, that I've been talking about for my my nephew who's getting married. But the thing is, these people weren't getting paid. So the ones that did show up every day, they got a bonus. And I think it's great because we have
what a big bonus it is. $10,000 is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, and they'll get their back pay too. But this is to show people that if you do your job and you have a decent administration that actually gives a shit about whether things are running smoothly and safely for the people of this country, that you get reward for it. Because we honor people that go to work and care about their jobs,
Well,
and I think it's
Janet, I think there's another thing to actually be taken out of this. So this is actually, it leads back into what you're not seeing with a lot of the younger generations, where they take some kind of pride in what they're doing. Because, back in the day, it's like everybody took some pride in the job that they were doing. They do it to the utmost of their ability, regardless of, how much they were getting paid or not getting paid. And I think that's what you're kind of seeing right here is some people that actually took some pride in the job that they were doing.
Yeah, and that's another thing is the fact that the younger people that think that if I work here or there, it doesn't matter whether I do a good job. As long as I show up and I look good, I should still get paid. That type of thing.
I can throw the chips across the counter or wad up my money. I can just do anything.
Yeah, and that is I like this because it's showing these workers that did come to work, even though they didn't know if they were going to get paid next week or whether we're going to open for another month, because they waited all these months. Wasn't this the longest shutdown we've ever had? And they knew how stubborn both sides were being. So, I don't know. I'm proud of our administration to do this for these people. And I guarantee you that all these people that got a bonus will be thinking next time and tell their friends, see, I went to work and I got a reward because of it. So you should next time have some faith in the people that are new administration or whatever for your job. But here we go.
But we will be looking at every single TSA official that helped serve during this government shutdown and do what we can to recognize that and help them financially with a bonus check to get them and their family back on their feet. So with that, Rico, I want to present to you a check and say thank you from the American people. Appreciate it.
Look how many checks she's got, man. She's got a lot of checks there. Look at it. Some of them are really happy. and
Oh,
she
yeah.
personally handed these checks out too.
Did one fill, right? Yeah, don't forget me. Hey, you got one for me?
No, I mean,
Of course
I
they know
think
that.
that a lot of people are going to be getting bonuses and stuff for this stuff, but it just makes me see. We had a president that stood up in front of everyone and said to our troops, "Well, if you're not making enough money, just get on food stamps." You know, it just pissed me off so bad. How can you have pride in a government that doesn't even
Yeah.
take care of its soldiers? You know, I just think this is great. I'm starting to get renewed faith in that our country can be fair to all. If you're a hard worker and you try to do the best you can,
You know,
you can
we
be
know there
rewarded.
was a shortage during this time. So even though, there was a shortage of people during this time, so they had to do double their work probably.
Yeah, they had to do more than what they normally would do because people weren't showing up for work. A lot of people just sat at home. But I just wanted to share this
Yeah.
because this is something good. This shows that this administration is really trying, even though every day they get bitched and moaned, why don't you see the Epstein files, whatever other bullshit, when there's other things that need to be taken care of too. We can't take care of one thing. We got millions of things that are being taken care of all at the same time. So
Well,
and
there's
each
another
day-
there's another thing in there, Janet, real quick before you move on from it. So there's one
Yeah.
other thing you guys are missing that a lot of these guys that are sitting there working without pay. So if the funds that they maybe had at the beginning of this shutdown evaporated, that means whatever bills that they had unpaid, they generated interest on top of that. So their bills
Mhm.
wound up being a lot more than they should have been too. And these people still continue to go to work anyway.
Yeah, not knowing when it was going to end. And you got to remember this too. Every single person that was on furlough at that time that didn't have to come to work because they could have stayed home because they weren't getting paid, right? They knew that after 61 days, they could be gone. And legally, they wouldn't have to give them any back pay. They just said, sorry, you're fired because we don't need you. You didn't come to work, or whatever their reasonings was. But I'm hoping that each of these different departments is, doing what they just did. They just proved that every single person that was on that stage that got a check showed up, even though they weren't making any money. But they were hoping that their government would come together, but they cared enough about their job to make sure that the job was done. You see, to me, that's important. That's good employees. And I hope they can do that with lots of the departments that we have, that people showed up for work, even though they weren't getting a paycheck. Just like you said, didn't know whether or not they were even going to get a check, in a month, and they'd already been without. So I don't know. It just made me really proud to be able to see that. Hold on, I'm going to look at this. You got to leave early.
Yeah, I got to leave early. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I just read it. I
Sorry
just
about
saw it. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's just,
I'll stay as
that's
long
just
as I
the way it
can.
is.
But if
But that's fine. I'm sorry about the mess of this earlier, not sending it to
yeah.
you. But yeah, I just
I
wanted
told
to share.
you. You forgot.
I know it's my fault. I admit it. I
That's
have
all
no
right. You
problem
got a lot
admitting
going
it.
on.
Yeah,
I'm just glad to be here.
been doing stuff. But this next thing is another thing I thought was kind of important that maybe someone wouldn't know about. But this is about the 2020 election. Little bits here and there is coming out, more and more evidence that they
Good.
can hold against people, right? Because how do you fix it if you don't prosecute people? And you can't prosecute people if you have corrupt judges and if you don't have enough evidence, because they'll say, well, this, that, and the other, and they'll just toss it out or whatever. So to me, the more we can get stacked up, the better. And I just thought this was pretty interesting.
Well, we got to simplify it for the old people out there. You can't fix it if you don't know what's broke.
Yeah, that too. That's right. You can't fix it if
Yeah.
you don't know where all the leaks are too. But it says that in Fulton County, Georgia, They defied a DOJ subpoena about the 2020 election, about irregularities. Is in there. I wonder why is this person posted. Could it be the suitcases full of ballots counted when the GOP election watcher left the room? 2020 was stolen and J6 covered it up. Treason. This is what this person C3 posted, and then they shared this video that I'm going to share with you.
I like that they're not pulling any of their comments. I totally agree. I was using that word a lot. Treason. It is treasonous. And these scumbags, like we were talking about last week, I want to see them behind jail. Absolutely, I do. With
Every
them running
time I
ballots
vote for
through
polls,
there, and not just the small fish, but let's get everybody we can.
Yeah, have you guys, either one of you, ever done the polling things where you went and worked the polls in your community or whatever?
I have I've had friends that have. Yeah.
Well, okay, I have many times in 2 different states, and you have to swear to do the job with a judge. A judge comes and he takes an oath from everyone to make sure that you are going to do what they trained you to do, and that you're not going to falter on that. And I understand more now about how it all works. That's why when the little tiny videos first started leaking out, I was like, how are they getting away with that? Because if somebody's ballot got set in front of me and I start writing on it, that's illegal. So when I saw all these people sitting and writing on ballots, I was like, that every one of those people should be arrested, because I would have been arrested if somebody at my table, that was sitting there that took license plate and went, your driver's license, and then you go down the thing to get your ballot at the end of the table, right? After you signed your signature and did all the different stuff. And they saw me writing on someone's ballot, they would probably arrest me right there. I would have said, what are you writing on someone's ballot for? So there's so many things that I saw, the videos came out, and I was mad because it seemed like no one was paying attention or listening to these people, because these people were doing things that you're not supposed to be doing. So it's nice to finally see more and more and more proof coming out that this stuff in these areas, they were cheating. And they're being caught doing it. And I hope that all the people involved in every one of these areas go to jail. I don't know how long.
Well, I think it was in Georgia or something.
Yeah, this is a Georgia one. But Arizona also. I saw tons of videos coming from Arizona and Georgia. But here we go.
Table. This table, the black one, was placed there by the lady with the blonde braids at about 8:22 a.m. in the morning. So she put that table there. So the same person who's staying behind now, the same person who cleared the place out under the pretense that we're going to stop counting, is the person who put the table there at 8:22 in the morning. Yeah, I saw 4 suitcases come out from underneath the table. Yeah, upper right hand, you see the gentleman in the red. So he just pulled one out.
Just a minute.
So what are these ballots doing there, separate from all the other ballots? And why are they only counting them whenever the place is cleared out with no witnesses? Is the question. So these machines can process about 3,000 ballots an hour. You have multiple machines there, and they're there for 2 hours. So you do the math. How many ballots went through those machines in those 2 hours when there was no one there to supervise, to be present, consistent with your statutes and rules, to supervise the tabulation? We believe.
But see that? See these people right here? Okay, there's records now that to tell you each of these people, and each of these people should be brought in and have to, explain what they were doing and who told them to do it, all that stuff, and get to the bottom of that, because this is illegal. What
you don't have standing. You don't have standing.
See?
You go to court and the judge says you don't have any standing. Look, they had pictures of a worker that caught on their phone they were taking the ballots and putting them in trucks to be shredded, when by law they're supposed to keep them for like 6 to 8 months, something like that. The very next day they're doing away with the evidence.
Yep.
But
that's why the numbers don't balance out.
Oh,
because when I work the polls,
anyway, I gotta go.
Person comes through. Okay, well, thank you very much for hanging out for a little bit. But when I work the polls, they come to the table. You take their driver's license or their other ID, whatever form that they're using, and then you look their name up and make sure the address is the same, and then you check the signature. Then you have another person sitting next to that person, and they're writing down the name on another sheet that at the end of the day goes with the ballots. Okay, and there's one that we hang on the window for the public to see who all came and who voted. So there is record for the public too. Well, after you're done, at the end of the night, we know by how many signatures we read and how many people we handed out ballots to. So at the end of the night, if we handed out 48 ballots, but now we have 72 ballots, where'd they come from? You see what I mean? It's so easy to detect cheating if you have real people sitting there counting the ballots that said, hey, how do we have 78 people now in our district or our little precinct or whatever when only 42 people voted? See what I mean? You can catch it that night, the very night that you're supposed to count the ballots, if you're doing it legally. It's that simple. It really is simple. But that's why I tell people, sign up to do jury duty one time at least so you understand the process, and sign up, even if it's just a teeny tiny election to get a new quorum court member or something. Go sign up to be a person to work so you can see how it works. Because once your eyes are open, like they always say, once you're out of the matrix and you see the reality, you can't go back in the matrix, because now you can't unsee what you know is truth. So I wish more people could do that because it really does help. And I think teenagers in high school, the seniors or the freshmen in college should have a course where they go and they get to work the polls or help stand and make sure people can get pencils or whatever it is. So that they can understand the process. Because if they understand how it's supposed to work, when stuff like this happens, you can say, what the hell's going on? That's not supposed to happen. Even a kid can notice it if they know what the process is. So that's one reason why I wanted to share this, because to me, this is very important that we get this out, because every person should feel their vote matters, and it's never going to feel that way. No person's ever going to feel safe until we can prove that these people cheated. And every station I ever worked, I never saw a single person cheat. And you're watching, you're talking to people, you're looking around, especially when you have lulls, when there's lunch break or whatever, and then it gets busy, because everybody's on their lunch break for that day at work. So I don't know.
Well, Janet, one of the things I think is really missing from a lot of this stuff, and we're seeing it throughout a lot of different sectors, is accountability for what some of these people are doing. So when there's wrongdoing, we're not seeing a lot of accountability for that. And I think that's the type of thing that happens. Like, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's jury duty. I don't care if it's for voting. I don't care if it's, for somebody misusing their power as a police officer. There needs to be some kind of accountability for all these damn people. Because once they know that they can get away with it, they're just going to keep doing it. And unless you prove that there's accountability for it, you're still going to get the same type of people that are going to be going back and working these polls or doing these other things over and over again. So, I mean, that's the first thing they need to do. They need to stop hemming and hawing over this stuff, and they really just need to start prosecuting people to prove, yes, there's going to be accountability. I think that would make people's perception of safe elections and everything like that. I think that would improve it a lot. If you say, okay, now there's accountability for the people that are, wrongdoing.
And I've already said that many times on this show this year, that if we don't see somebody, I don't care who it is, being arrested or starting to be prosecuted for some of the stuff that we've seen for the year after year after year, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt the 26 elections. I really do believe that, because people are not going to show up at the polls. Why should they? They haven't fixed this. They haven't fixed that. They haven't done that. People are losing faith. And you have to have some people arrested and starting to go through the process to show that they meant what they said to get people to vote for 2026. And I really do believe that it's going to hurt us big time. And I think Trump knows that. He's telling people, get off your ass. Let's get this shit done and get some people prosecuted. So start putting this information out so people know that we got this much evidence, and now we're going to try to prosecute these people. And I really do believe it. It's going to hurt it's going to hurt us. It's going to hurt the conservative movement of MAGA if we do not make America great again, not Trump people that want America to get better, which is what I am. I'm a person that believes in that. And I think America should be first. I think all Americans should be the first ones in line for anything when it comes to anything in our country, period. I don't think any alien that just walked over the border should get anything for free unless there's extra after every person in this country that was born here gets theirs first. If there's a homeless person, that means if there's any homeless people or anything like that, then nobody gets anything until our homeless people are taken care of. That's how I feel about it big time.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, there's a lot of people that are suffering in the country that don't need to be suffering.
Right.
I mean, they talk about how we're one of the most prosperous nations in the world, yet you see it all the time with all these people that don't have homes, they don't have jobs. Even veterans that don't have a place to live. How the hell does a veteran not wind up having a place to live? I'd seen a story on Twitter, and it was just the other day, where there was this older gentleman. He was a veteran, and there was a screw up at the VA, and he wound up not getting paid enough money to be able to stay in the apartment. And he got thrown out in the street, and he was only out there for a couple of weeks. But this is an older guy. He had cancer. He had a bunch of different problems going on with him. And this couple had stopped and they asked him what his problem. They took him out and they got him a nice dinner and everything. And then they turned around and they got him a hotel room for it was like a month or so, just so he wouldn't have to live out on the street. I mean, that was another one of those feel good moments you were talking about earlier. If I could have found it, I would have sent it to you. But it was one of those things, you run across them, you share it, and then it gets buried in the feed and you never find it again.
Yeah.
So.
Anything you see like that, share it in the shit show chat, because I go through it each week for every show. And, and if there's something, you just write a little note. Like I said about the sex dolls, in the shit show chat, that I was going to do a show on it. Even stuff I'm going to do on Thursday night show, I put in there because that's where I go back to try to find as much as I can. And I also go to the Friday Night Shit Show emails and try to go through that to see if there's something that I haven't, looked up or whatever. But to me, it's important that we share good things too, not just all the shit. Yeah, there's a lot of shit, and we're going to always have shit, but we should try to put the good stuff up a little higher and try to have at least one or two things, because it's real. This is stuff that's really happening, and to see good things happening on top of the shit, like the guy that was able to stop those people from stealing his car, or more from him. They could have killed him. We don't know what could have happened if he hadn't had the gun to protect himself. But so this next story is a guy named Salty Goat on X. He posted this, and I thought it was pretty interesting because I hadn't heard about it. But I've been so busy the last couple of days, and my computer crashed, and I had a whole bunch of other bad stuff that happened. But I'm trying to get back on the normal keel again. But he's talking about some stuff with the Kash Patel and Pam Bondi that people are bitching about. So let's see what she said. And this is the channel that's owned by that My Pillow guy, I think. I can't remember what his name is right this minute.
Mike Lindell.
Yeah, Mike Lindell's media company that he owns. This is one of the people from that.
The Clinton corruption files. Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel have now shown Congress documents about former President Bill and former First Lady Hillary Clinton's foundation, and evidence that they collected donations from foreign and domestic interest-seeking influence. And the fact that AG Bondi and Director Patel just found this new cache of documents is raising concerns This evidence was kept from previous prosecutors' investigating the Clinton Foundation and the pay-to-play allegations against the Clinton family, gosh, a decade ago. So officials familiar with the matter have said that the documents will make clear that there was some kind of effort to obstruct legitimate inquiries into the foundation by blocking real investigation by line-level FBI agents and DOJ field prosecutors and keeping them from following the money. So you can read more about this bombshell story over at Just the News. The Clinton corruption files, Attorney General Pam Bondi and
But the thing is that more and more stuff is coming out. Little here, little there, because all the different departments that have new people, remember that each person that got in there, like when Kash Patel got in there, he had to start going through and who's crooked? Who can I trust? And start weeding people out. And then the whistleblowers that were coming forward on every department. Now that they had a different head, that's why they're finding all this stuff. Then you had Doge in there, and you had all the Doge people digging through records for money, all these NGOs and all this shit of waste of money, Social Security fraud. And we got so much stuff going on all at the same time. I mean, I'm telling you, we're going to have, once they start going to court, it's going to be like a Rolodex. It's going to be going and going because there's so much corruption. And the thing is, I'm gonna love it. I really wish that we could make it live like they used to have on Court TV, till we have government court TV or something like that, where we're watching all these people that did all these different things. I don't care if it's voter fraud or if they stole with tax dollars for an NGO and was spending it in Japan or China or wherever. Every one of these court cases we should get to see. I think the people that tax dollars got wasted on any of this shit, I don't care what it is, we have the right to see it. I want to see these people prosecuted. And even if I have to bookmark it and record it or whatever, I don't care. I still want to sit down and watch the boring ass shit because I want to see these people go to jail. I want to see these people punished. And we all deserve that, and I hope they're going to do something like that. I don't know if they will, but it sure would be nice.
Yeah, they should. I'm so proud that you didn't say you were going to TiVo it, Janet. I'm just happy you didn't say
I don't
that.
have TiVo.
What's up, Tree Rock? What's going on, Buzz? And what's going on, Tank? And yeah, I think it wasn't the wildebeest. It was Where the Wild Things Are. I think they got him. They had some questions about some of his drawings, and the Wild Things got him.
Yeah, but I shared that little snippet in the chat so that you can go to the extra part, to, like she said, there's more on this wherever. If you listen to that, you can get the tidbits and get the extra information that I didn't have. But I would like for you to do that, to bookmark it or whatever. But there's a couple other things that I thought were pretty interesting. This next one is like, wow, I was really shocked when I saw this. But I think it's important that we know about this. Now, I think it was last week or the week before, I shared a video of it was in England though, but I said, this is coming here after what happened in New York City. And we're seeing it in other small towns where they have a bunch of these Muslim communities where they hate dogs. Right? They don't like dogs the same way we do in America. And there was a guy walking his dog in England, and he was attacked for walking his dog and stabbed 40 times. He died. And he also stabbed the dog to death too.
It truly is amazing. It truly is amazing all the things that these people hate. I mean, they hate dogs, they hate bacon, they hate music. I mean, everything that is really antithetical to American culture, they hate. Why move here then?
They hate their daughters too. They'll take your 9-year-old girls to the doctor and cut off certain body parts of women so that they don't enjoy sex because they don't want the wife out cheating with someone else, But he can have, as many wives as he wants, but she can't enjoy anything. It's sickening. And they remember, I think it was last week or the week before, that I had that article about the 3 people that had the clinic, and they were bringing the young girls in and doing mutilations on them in this country. So we've got to start fighting back in court, and that's why we need good judges. That's another thing I keep saying. We got to get all these people appointed, because we have got to start fighting in court to get rid of these people and uphold our Constitution. Our Constitution is only worth this right here. It's just paper. If nobody enforces it, if nobody goes to jail to protect our Constitution, it's only paper. Okay, that's how people need to start looking at our Constitution. We have to start standing up for it in our states and our cities, and that's how we take back the federal government. But this next thing I want to share is, to me, it's important that you listen to this. So here we go.
Is having a dog haram, impermissible, forbidden? The answer to that is it depends why you have the dog. Islamically, it's allowed to have the dog for certain reasons, such as farming or herding. But if you just have the dog because you like dogs and for no reason, then it's not allowed.
Yeah, we still don't give a fuck. Nobody's gonna tell me that I can't have a fucking dog.
Look at that fucking face and tell me you can tell it no.
I'm telling you, little Haji ass, right now, you ever in your fucking existence touch my dog, and I will bring a reckoning upon your entire fucking family.
So I'm telling your busted ass now, fuck Islam, fuck your pedophile prophet Muhammad, and fuck the Quran. I don't give a shit what you fuckers want. The only man I bow to is Jesus. I love all of you. I'm your Huckleberry.
I just wanted to share that. That's another American's
Is having a
point
dog.
of view of what he feels about what they think about our pets. Okay. And this is just our pets. This isn't, them praying 5 times a day or any of this stuff. And you know what? I don't care if they pray 5 times a day, but the fact that they don't pray in their own mosque, they have to do it out in the street and stop traffic and have it over the loudspeakers where people can't sleep in their own house that you pay taxes for. It's ridiculous. And the fact that people have just moved away. See, that's another thing. Everybody's saying, look what happened in New York. And people saying, oh, well, we'll just move. Well, what happens when they move? They're going to move from New York to Florida or to Texas or to Oklahoma or to Georgia or to Alabama. See, they're going to move to all these towns. And what do they do when they get there? They vote the same way they voted before. So they
bring
take
their same stupid mentality with them. And what's going on, Joe's atmosphere?
what was there, and now they make it here. So we have to stay diligent in our cities and our towns. I mean, this is one thing you guys can each do. Get on your computer or your phone and look up how many mosques are in your state. Just your state. You'll be surprised. You'll really be surprised. And then what happens is, just like I showed last week on that one thing where that pastor was showing that when he went to the house, there was 4 women all pregnant, and they're all pregnant by the same guy living in the same house. And then what happens is they get another house next door and another one down there, another one. And you might have one guy that's going for each of these houses, and all these women are pregnant by him. Because it only takes a one generation to take over a whole neighborhood with just a few people by having babies, and then working and becoming board members of the school, running for city council, whatever it is. If you have enough of them there to vote for you, that's how you change it. All you got to do is start looking at the different cities and towns in your own state and see how many have slowly become Muslim. Look at Dearborn, Michigan. People say, oh, that will never happen here. That will never happen here. That will never happen here. I hear that all the time. It's happening, people, because you're too busy doing this on your phone or whatever it is you're doing. You think is more important. That's why it's happening. So it's up to us. We are it. We are it, people.
A big part of that is complacency. People, they got too complacent that everything was good, everything was safe. And like you're saying, that it's never going to happen here. But I mean, you don't speak up and say something about this, and your first idea, instead of fighting back against this, is to run from it. Well, that only increases the problem, because sooner or later, you're going to run out of places to hide.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time.
And then the government comes and says, well, you got so much land and you got a big house and there's a lot of people that don't have any place to live. So we're going to take your land. We're going to sell you. We're going to buy it from you for 10 cents an acre or whatever, whatever the hell they want to give you for it, and kick you out of your property that you maybe had for 5 generations. And it happens all eminent domain. All that stuff happens and you're screwed. And there's nothing you can do about it. Because you handed your rights away because you didn't vote for city council, you didn't vote for mayor, you didn't vote for your governor, you didn't protect your town or your state. So now it's lost. They own it. Okay. I have a governor where I'm at now that made all the people that came here from China trying to buy property, big lots of land, hundreds of acres to make farms, and said, no, we're not selling it to you. So, you can make a difference if you fight for it. But if you don't fight for it, it's not going to last very long. So I'll go on to the next thing. So I could preach about everything. I'm so bad, but I can't help it. I'm passionate about it because I see it happening right in front of us and not enough people are doing anything about it.
Yeah, like I said, too many people, it's not only just complacency, they got that fear that, they're going to be ostracized too if they stand up and say something because, everybody's worried about the ism or the phobe is going to be thrown at them. Mm-hmm. And if you're scared about words, just remember what old Teddy said about that, sticks and stone, basically the sticks and stones, break my bones, words never hurt me. You speak softly and carry a big stick. I mean, it's basically the same damn thing. You can't sit there and let people's words corral you into a position where you're going to be weaker. And I think that's where a lot of people are right now. They're just so easy to just back down and slink away because they're worried about words and everything like that. You can't do that. You just can't.
Yeah, we've got to stay strong, and don't be intimidated because you're worried that someone's going to call you a Nazi or a fascist or a homophobe or Islamophobe or whatever it is, whatever they're going to call you. It's just a name. Okay, I was called names ever since I was a kid because I was a nerd. Because I like comic books and I didn't fix my hair and wear makeup and stuff like that. I was, I wore T-shirts and blue jeans. I was just, I got picked on compared to my sisters. But I don't care. It's just a word. I'm fighting for what I own. I'm fighting for what I believe in. And if we don't do it, who's going to do it for us? Nobody. But this thing was interesting because it was there's a guy called Nick Sorter that I follow on X, and he always has some really good stuff. He always has a lot of stuff that other people don't normally share. But this one was really good because of all the stink and uproar we've heard. Oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that if I don't get my SNAP card, all that stuff that was going on. But thank God the shutdown's over and that's not going to happen. But now this was a video this person posted because they were mad about the way that they were being treated, about their SNAP, maybe not getting their food or whatever for their kids, even though they have tattoos, they have their nails done and they get their hair done and do all this stuff with the money they're supposed to be using for food. So here's a video that he posted that this person did. Oh, it says 0 on it now. So, it's because I already played it. Sorry. Here we go. I'm going to play it for you.
I've been so down and under pressure. I'm way too fine to be distressed, yeah. Oh, I'm not the girl I was or used to be. Bitch, I might be better. Turn up the music. Turn down the lights.
Look at all this good food they're getting in their cart. Yummy. Eating good stuff. You guys buy any of that stuff yourselves?
I rarely eat any of that kind of junk.
Yeah, I like the broccoli and that meat. That looks pretty good. But did you see what kind of stuff she's buying? She said, "Look at me, I'm getting what I want." And then we
I think
wonder
that's one of the problems. That was one of the problems always with SNAP. And I get it to a certain degree. You should be able to at least have something like, as a treat. And I get that to a degree. But at the same token, when you're allowed to just take your SNAP benefits and just pretty much just buy all garbage that has no kind of nutritional value, and then you're going to sit there and whine and cry about how I'm fat, my kids are fat, and everything like that. I think what they should do, and this is a smart way to do it, you don't eliminate it completely 100%, but what you do is you put a cap on the stuff that they can buy that is actually not nutritional. So it's a very small percentage of what they could spend on their SNAP for snacks or soda or stuff like that. This is how you actually eliminate that problem, because now all of a sudden they can't buy a full cart full of garbage anymore, and they're going to be forced to actually pick out food that's a little bit more nutritional.
Yeah, I that would be good. But you know what? We're going to get a pushback from all the people who didn't want to open the government, saying how mean that is, that we're forcing them to have to eat certain food. We're forcing our point of view on them. Just like they tried to force me to get the jab, and they're going to put me in a camp because I didn't get the jab. All that stuff. I wasn't supposed to get medical treatment, if I got sick, any of these things. So it's going to be, I'm telling you, it's going to be a fight to do any of these things. But we have to fight for what we believe, or we're not going to ever get anything. We're going to constantly be paying for this kind of crap. And the people that are on this, and that attitude right there that you just saw, by her having to post this and show everyone, look at me, I'm buying this and I'm doing this, I don't give a shit what you say because it's my money, whatever. Those people are the ones that I think should be evaluated every year to see whether or not they should get that kind of stuff. I think we should have all of that looked into to get the corruption out of that. And I think that will make a big difference too on who's getting it, because most of the people that I know that need it, they're happy to get whatever they get, and they're better about buying things that are better for them because they want to get better. You know what I mean?
I look at it like this. A lot of the people that buy a lot of that junk like that, Janet, I don't think that they were really in dire straits to begin with, because if your first instinct is just to buy a bunch of garbage, you were never really suffering to begin with. So, I mean, I was actually in a position where we didn't even have enough money to cover all the bills. So we got SNAP for a very short window of time. And we bought actual legit food that not only would last a while, but actually was pretty nutritious and would fill you up. And we also bought stuff like flour and stuff like that. Yeah, bought flour and stuff like that, so you could actually make a lot more with it. You buy smart, but a lot of these people don't. And like Six Nations, you're looking at that and it's diabetes. If you have diabetes,
yeah, it's pretty bad. But yeah, that was one of the things I saw, and I was like, you got to be kidding! What a biatch to make that video and post it and shove it down people's throats. You might have a person that's barely making enough money to pay for their own self and their family, and there's taxes are still coming out of their check to give that person that made that video all that shit in her cart. She's not thinking about any of those people. See what I mean? That's what pissed me off. It's that attitude.
It's entitlement.
Wrong. Yeah, that's what I mean. And I want to see a restructure to make sure that a person, just the same thing with when you workman's comp or any of these other things, unemployment. Okay, if you've been working and you get fired because of the business burnt down or got hit by a tornado, which you see a lot in the South, you got hurricanes and tornadoes and different things like that, forest fires, people lose their jobs because of that. Okay, those people are the ones that deserve to get the help and the assistance until they get back on their feet, because they got to rebuild the business or whatever it is, or they have to move or whatever happens. But that's why we have these subsidies set up, to help people who really need it. And then you get biatches like that would make that video out of spite to rub it in people's faces. Look, see, I'm getting all this. But you're going to be really pissed when you see this other video that I got. Oh, man, I couldn't believe it. But, that these people get away with this.
It's right there in the name, too. Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program.
Yeah,
nutritional.
That's what it's supposed to be.
There's nothing nutritional about 10 pounds of little in your cart.
The broccoli, the broccoli, the rice, and the meat. And there was a couple other little things. That's it. The rest of the stuff was just crap, and they were doing it just on purpose. Why else would they video it and say, "Look what I'm buying with mine"? It just pisses me off. But wait till you see this. This is another thing that Elon Musk talks about a lot of this because he's with Doge, helping with Doge, still assisting, and he knows a lot about it. But I wanted to share this first. Everybody knows, I think everybody knows who Gunther Eagleman is, right?
Oh yeah.
I've been following him on TikTok for a while and also on X, and he follows me on TikTok and stuff too. But he's got some pretty good stuff, and he's able to find things that other people may not have. But this right here, you are going to be shocked when you listen to this. This woman right here is typing some stuff in on her phone to check out for her EBT money to show her friend that's sitting at this table. So just listen to this. It's not very long, but just listen.
Thank you for calling New Jersey EBT customer service. For English, press 1. Para español, for EBT, press 1. Enter the last 4 digits of your phone. Enter your PIN. Your staff balance is $23,235.
Did you hear that? Her SNAP
That's
balance,
disgusting.
$23,000.
That's disgusting.
I know, and that's sad because how many people are going without because of this person?
See, on average, what most normal people get is you wind up getting off SNAP. You might get about $200 some odd dollars a month for each person. So
assistance. It's supposed to be assistance.
It's not a whole lot, but it's enough for people who are struggling to be able to get by for a little while, and that's what it was intended for. And then you have people like this that are somehow abusing the system.
They figured out a way to do it, or they have somebody on the inside that's helping them. See, that's where the corruption is. And those are the people that are hurting the people that actually need it. I had a friend, and he was in his 30s, and he had cerebral palsy. Okay. And when he went to apply, because he finally got moved out of his parents' house and was trying to do some things, but he needed some help. He just needed like a little bit of money on the side to help him, because he did have a job and he was going to college to try to become a pastor. Okay. He was a great guy. He had a great family. But when he went in to get the assistance, they told him, well, if you get this, we help you with this, you can't work. You're not allowed to have a job. Well, why not? I just want assistance. This is what he kept saying. I just want you to help me a little until I can get my degree, blah, blah, blah. And this is a guy that has cerebral palsy. He has a hard time getting around. He can't drive. He had a lot of problems. But this guy was wanting to do things for himself. But they told him, if you get a job, we won't give you any help. See, that's the problem. People that want to work a part-time job or whatever they can do, and they just want some help so that they can pay their bills or to get the food or whatever, that they need, they can't get the help. See, they've made it to where you either get all of it from us or you don't get help. See, that's the problem.
Well, I mean, that's the way they hold it over people too. So I mean, you see that with the government shutdown. They're like, okay, oh yeah, you want the government, you want socialism. This is what you get when the government decides, hey, we're just going to hold it over your head and hold everything. You get nothing. And guys, the food stamps and EBT originally. I remember the food stamps when I first became disabled and I had to get surgery on my knee. I had no source of income, obviously, because I couldn't walk, I couldn't do anything. So they had put me on the food stamps for a little while, and I remember spending that fake paper Monopoly money. People look at you funny. I didn't personally give a shit. I mean, there was nothing I could do about it. What was I going to do? I'm going to sit there and be embarrassed about it? I didn't give a shit. But yeah, I mean, a lot has changed since then, the way they do it. But the way that people could defraud the system is like the biggest problem right here. And hopefully they figure it out. I mean, there's got to be some people in there with more than like a TikTok birds in their head to be able to freaking get this kind of stuff done. It just seems like, to me, 9 times out of 10, government just loves to sit on their fucking hands. They like sitting on their hands and doing nothing until the problem becomes so exasperated it's almost impossible to correct it.
Well, I have 2 more things left, and I'm gonna save the Elon Musk thing for the last one because it's a little longer video, and I'm gonna do this Tim Fitton. You guys know who that is? You ever heard of him? You'll recognize him when I show him to you. But I'm going to play his video first. This is the update on the Supreme Court now has the opportunity to reaffirm that Election Day means what it says under federal law. Counting ballots received after Election Day not only violates federal law, but encourages voter fraud and undermines voter confidence. See, this is another thing that we've been waiting on. It took forever just to be able to, and I think they brought it to court a couple of times, but they said they threw it out because they said it wasn't worded properly and a whole bunches of, the rigmarole when it comes to legal stuff, and they've had to redo it over a few times. So to me, I think this is good that it's finally this whole thing with the Supreme Court. So here we go. Let's listen to what he has to say about it.
Huge Judicial Watch victory for the rule of law on elections. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals just ruled an hour or so ago that counting ballots that arrive days after Election Day is contrary to federal law, preempted by federal law. Mississippi counts ballots that arrive up to 5 days after Election Day. Judicial Watch challenged that in court, and the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals essentially said Judicial Watch is right. This is an historic victory for the rule of law. Too many states count ballots that arrive after Election Day. It's quite obviously contrary to the very notion of having an Election Day. It invites voter fraud and undermines voter confidence. Hopefully this victory is just the beginning and we can get back to Election Day across the nation. Huge Judicial Watch victory.
So I hope that somehow pays off and makes it where it's harder for people to be able to do that. But we have to do it, one state at a time, basically. I think that we can do something for the federal voting through Trump can do something with that. But anytime you have a president that just writes an executive order, guess what happens? Just what we saw when Biden got in, all he did was sit there for days and sign executive orders and undo all the stuff, shut down the pipelines, whatever they want. That's why we need a decent Congress that won't just sit there and suck up their checks and actually make laws so that the president can sign them into law and have something that's harder for them to come in and write a, executive order to get rid of it. So if we can just get some of this stuff, like get Doge cleaned up, do some of this stuff so they can actually take that information and make a law that the president can sign. Because if we can do that, we can make a huge difference just in that aspect of it. But, it's just, I just don't know what to tell you. Right now, I'm a little happy with our Congress because they did hold on. Even some of the lame ducks that I can't stand actually, held fast and said, no, we're not opening up the government until you guys come to the table, because we're not giving a dime to illegals. And I'm really proud of that. We even made it as long as we did. But this last thing I thought was really good. It's an interview with Joe Rogan and Elon. And I don't really care that much for Joe Rogan, and I don't know what the big uproar is about why he's so awesome.
He's a bit of a flip-flop artist.
Well, this guy voted for Bernie Sanders to be president of the United States of America and Bernie Sanders is an open socialist. And but now Joe Rogan, if they take half his income, he's still rich. He's still so rich it won't even affect his lifestyle. But when they take half of our money, to live in a socialist, we're gonna be all of us living in cardboard boxes basically. And I'm sorry, I just don't see that he's changed enough for me to believe that, that he's changed, that he wouldn't vote for someone like Bernie Sanders again. And I'm sorry, I've lived in other countries as a kid, growing up in the military and seeing people with nothing, living in Nipa huts and stuff, because their government took everything. And they have a president that had solid gold toilet seats and shit. So it's disgusting. And I don't ever want to see our people doing without when we're handing money over to other countries. And I'm sorry, I can't help myself. I'm just adamant that that's what I believe. And I really believe it, that we should not hand over a dime to another country until we're taking care of our people. Just, period. That's just how I feel. And I'm adamant about it. But here's the last thing I want to share. It's Joe Rogan and Elon Musk. And it's pretty entertaining. So I'll let it go. And here you go. Hope you enjoy it.
That's why they don't arrest the drug dealers. Because if they arrest the drug dealers, the drug zombies leave. So they know who the drug dealers are. They don't arrest them on purpose. Because otherwise the drug zombies would leave and they would stop getting money from the state of California and from all the charities.
Wait a minute. So you say
it's dark, man.
Is that real? So they're in coordination with law enforcement on this?
Yeah.
So how do they have those meetings?
They're all in cahoots.
Well, when you find
this is a diabolical scam. And San Francisco has got this tax, this gross receipts tax, which it's not even on revenue; it's on all transactions, which is why Stripe and Square and a whole bunch of financial companies had to move out of San Francisco, because it wasn't a tax on revenue; it's a tax on transactions. So if you did trillions of dollars transactions, not revenue, you're taxed on any money going through the system in San Francisco. Like Jack Dorsey pointed this out, and they said look, that they had to move Square from San Francisco to Oakland, I think. Stripe had to move from San Francisco to South San Francisco, a different city. And that money goes to the homeless industrial complex, that tax that was passed. So there's billions of dollars that go, as you pointed out, billions of dollars every year that go to these non-governmental organizations that are funded by the state. It's not clear how to turn this off. It's a self-licking ice cream cone situation. They get this money. The money is proportionate to the number of homeless people or number of drug zombies, essentially. So they try to keep that. They try to actually increase, because that in some cases it's somebody did an analysis. When you add up all the money that's flowing, they're getting close to $1 million per homeless per drug zombie. It's like $900,000, something like some crazy amount of money is going to these organizations. So so they want to keep people just barely alive. They need to keep them in the area so they get the revenue. So that's why, like I said, they don't arrest the drug dealers, because otherwise the drug zombies would leave. But they don't want to have too much. If they get too much drugs, then they die. So they're kept in this sort of perpetual zone of being addicted, but just barely alive.
So how is this coordinated with DAs that don't prosecute people?
Yeah.
So when they hire or they push, so they fund the campaigns of the most progressive, most out there left-wing DAs. They get them into office.
We've got that issue in Austin too, by the way.
Yes, we
do. You see that guy that got shot in the library?
No.
I
heard about
a guy
it.
got shot and killed in the library. I think that was just last week or something.
Right.
So some friends of mine were telling me that the library's unsafe. They took their kids to the library, and there were dangerous people in the library in Austin. And I was like, dangerous people in the library? That's a strange. It basically get drug zombies in the library.
Oh Jesus! And that's when someone got shot.
Yeah, I believe this should be on the news. We might be able to pull it up. But I think it was just in the last week or so that there was a shooting in the library in Austin. Because Austin's got, it's the most liberal part of Texas that we're in right here.
So, suspect involved in the shooting Austin Park Library Saturday is accused of another shooting at the Cap Metro bus earlier that day. According to an arrest warrant affidavit, Austin police arrested Harold Newton Keene, 55, shortly after the shooting in the library, which occurred around noon. One person sustained non-life-threatening injuries in the event. Before that shooting, Keene was accused of shooting another person in a bus incident, and after reportedly pointing his gun at a child. So this is the fella down here.
So like we just seriously have a problem here.
Yeah.
You know, so I think one of the people might have died too that he shot. So, like one of the people I think did bleed out. But either way, it's like getting shot is still bad.
It says the victim told police it confronted the suspect who started to eat what appeared to be crystal methamphetamine. According to the affidavit, the victim advised the suspect began to trip out, at which time the victim exited the bus. The victim told the bus driver hit the panic button and then exited the bus. When he turned around, the observer, black male, was now standing at the front of the bus with the gun pointed at him. The victim advised the black male fired a single round which grazed his left hip. So he shot at that dude, and then another dude got shot in the library. Fun.
Yeah, I mean, in the library.
Yeah.
You know, where you're supposed to be reading books. And there's a children's section in the library, and it says he pointed his gun at a kid. I mean, like we do have a serious issue in America where repeat violent offenders need to be incarcerated.
Right.
And you know, you got cases where somebody's been arrested like 47 times.
Right.
Like literally, okay, that's just the number of times they were arrested, not
Right.
the number of times they did things. Like most of the times they do things, they're not arrested.
So lay this out for people so they understand
Yeah.
how this happens.
Yeah, and the key is like this: it preys on people's empathy. So like, if you're a good person, you want good things to happen in the world. You're like, well, we should take care of people who, who are down in their luck or having a hard time in life. And we should. I agree. But what we shouldn't do is put people who are violent drug zombies in public places where they can hurt other people. And that is what we're doing. That we just saw, where a guy got shot in the library, and then but even before that he shot another guy and pointed his gun at a kid. Like that guy probably has like many prior arrests. There was that guy that knifed the Ukrainian woman Irina.
Yes. Yeah.
And she was just quietly on her phone, and he just came up and gutted her basically.
Wasn't there a crazy story about the judge who was involved, who had previously dealt with this person, was also invested in a rehabilitation center and was sending these
conflict of interest?
Yes. So sending people that they were charging to a rehabilitation center instead of putting them in jail, profiting from this rehabilitation center, letting them back out on the street.
Yes, and
violent, insane people.
And there, in that case, I believe that judge has no law degree or a significant legal experience that would allow them to be a judge. They were just made a judge. That's just like,
you could be a judge without a law degree?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You could just be so I could be a judge?
Yeah. Anyone.
That's crazy. I thought you'd have to. It's like if you want to be a doctor, you have to go to medical school. I thought if you're going to be a judge,
think,
you have to understand the
law. If you're going to be
law.
appointed to a judge, you have to have proven that you have an excellent knowledge of the law and that you will make your decisions according to the law. That's what we assume should be.
That's how you get the robe.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't get the robe unless you do.
Right.
Got
to go to school to get the robe.
You got to know what the law is.
Right.
And then you got to need to make decisions in accordance with the law.
Based on the
Not
stuff
feelings.
that you already know because you read it because you went to school for it.
Yes.
Not you just got appointed.
Not vibes. You can't be just vibing as a judge.
Vibing as a left-wing judge. So you got crazy left-wing DAs.
Yes.
Like I shouldn't say left-wing because the left-wing used to be normal.
Yeah,
It's
left wing just meant like you're like in fact,
open-minded.
The left used to be like pro free speech.
Yeah.
And now they're against it.
It used to be like pro-gay rights, pro-women's right to choose,
Yeah.
pro-minorities,
like 20 years ago, I don't know. It used to be like left would be like the party of empathy or like caring and being nice and that kind of thing. Not the party of like crushing dissent and crushing free speech, and crazy regulation and just and being super judgy and calling everyone a Nazi. You know, like I think they've called you and me Nazis. You know.
I'm a Nazi. I think. I have friends that are comedians that called you a Nazi, and I got pissed off.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
Like
He's
not
definitely
as a
Nazi.
joke?
No, because you did that thing at the. My heart goes
But,
out
like,
to you.
everyone
like
who's done-
everyone, all of them,
Literally.
Tim Walz, Kamala Harris, every one of them did it. They all did it.
How do you point at the crowd? Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
How do you wave at the crowd?
Do you know CNN was using a photo of me whenever I got in trouble during COVID
Oh, man.
from the UFC weigh-ins? And if the UFC weigh-ins, I go, "Hey everybody, welcome to the weigh-ins." And so they were getting me from the side, and that was the photo that they used. Conspiracy
Sure.
theorist podcaster Joe Rogan. Like that's what they used.
Yeah, but that's what the left is today. It's super judgy and calling everyone a Nazi and trying to suppress freedom of speech.
Yeah, and eventually you run out of people to accuse because people get pissed off and they leave.
Yeah, everyone. It's like it no longer. Frankly, it doesn't matter to be called racist or a Nazi or whatever because.
But see, eventually, even the people that voted for people because they thought this person was better and nicer because they care about certain things that, just like what he said about the left. But see, I never saw the left that way. Did you ever see him that way?
The only thing I know about them is they eat their own, and I don't trust a lot of it. So.
Yeah, see, I was raised in the military, and my dad always said that liberals want to take your money and give it to other people. And they believe in big government, and that they want to take what you earn and give it to someone else who didn't earn anything. They want to share everything, not them, not the ones up here, but everyone below them. The people should never have anything better than anyone else. So that's socialism and that's communism. That's what my dad always told me growing up. So I never saw like what Joe Rogan saying, oh, the left used to be this, that, and the other. I don't remember them ever being that. They've always wanted to take from others and give it to other people that didn't earn it. Because just like I said, there's a good experiment. If any church can do this, and I wish some churches would try this just to see what happens. You start a community garden in your church. If you have a big enough lot or there is an open lot in your community, you apply to the community people that run it and say, we want to do an experiment this year with this lot. We're going to make a community garden. And what you do is you set it up through your church, a big one. It's got to be a decent sized one. And everybody has a job. You know, they till, what they're going to plant, all those different things. Then you have people, you know, grow the food and everything, and then when it's harvest time, they come and you pass out the stuff. What's funny is it happens to everywhere. Every single one person I've ever talked to that's done a community garden, it always ended up the same way. Everybody wants to come for the harvest, but hardly anyone comes to pull weeds, to water, to make sure if there was a storm, that come and stand up to tomato plants and stuff. You know, no one wants to work. They just want to show up for the free food at the end, right? Well, you can expect people in wheelchairs and other things like that, but these are just normal people that, like that lady that was throwing all that food in her cart. It's perfectly fine to go out and hoe or pull some weeds and water and do some things for the community garden so everyone gets something, right? But they don't want to do that. So what it always ends up is where you end up having to have a fence around it so people can't steal from it. You have to have somebody watching the garden, and you have to make sure people sign a little notebook. You have a notebook, so if they come and they water or they weed or they do different things for the garden, then they sign when they came and what they did. So all the people that actually worked on the garden, they're first in line. So they get to come and get stuff off the thing. Then you have the people at the very end are the ones that didn't even show up one day to get their little basket of.
Well, yeah, they're the minimum effort, maximum reward type of people, and
Yeah,
unfortunately,
but
you know,
that's how it always ends up.
as society is degenerated a little bit, you're starting to see more and more of those type of people because they
Yeah,
just
and
it comes
sad.
right back around, like you said, to the entitlement of the lady with her SNAP benefit
Mm-hmm.
buying like 20 pounds of Little Debbie's. You know, that's how the number keeps coming up. Little Debbie is getting fat from all the money that lady is sending her.
Yep. It's really sad. But the thing is, I think more and more people are realizing that I'm tired of having to take care of all these people that don't want to do it. They're just lazy. They just, it's not that they can't do it. It's that they don't want to do it, and they don't have to, because no one's ever expected them to do anything. That's what happens. Like my mother said, when I think it was Hillary Clinton that said it takes a village to raise a child. Didn't she write a book or something like that? And mom said, yeah, here you go. You get everyone gets a trophy, you know, whether they ran in track or they did anything. And all the kids that worked real hard to try to get all straight A's, they got a star or whatever on their thing, but so did every kid. You know, there's no reward for kids that excel in everything, that try to be best in band camp or best track player or any of the things in school. A child that works hard deserves to be praised for it, because that is proving that the child can do something, you know, whether they built the best Lego boat or whatever it was. They should learn that if you work hard, you deserve the reward. You see what I mean? And if you do nothing, you don't get anything. You know, that's all.
I mean, her philosophy is flawed anyway. You know, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it can also take a village to raise an idiot. Has she never heard of the village idiot? But when you're talking about that kind of stuff, I did see something from this mother. So she had two daughters. One was actually sick in bed, and the other one was the older one. And she says, you know, scrub out the complete kitchen, like polish everything, like clean everything off. And if you do a really good job, and I like it, I'm going to give you $50. The older daughter did an amazing job cleaning out the whole kitchen. She handed her, you earned every penny of this $50. She said, but I'm going to have to tax you for it. And she took 20 off and then went and handed it to the other daughter, which is like, here's $20 for doing nothing. And she went back to the first daughter and she says, that's how socialism works. Are you going to vote for socialism? And she's like, no, that sucks. I worked for it.
Yeah, I've seen them do that with kids that have a lemonade stand, things like that, showing them what happens to your paycheck. And that's why I thought it was so cute. I saw this video, and this kid, they got their first job, and I think it was a summer job where they actually were, I think they were 16 and they had a job, and they got an actual check, you know, a check for like, I don't know, not very much, but they were so excited because it was their first check, and they didn't want to hand it to the bank. They wanted to frame it, you know, they wanted to cash it, but they wanted to keep it so that they'd have it, you know, because they were so excited. But they said, what's FICA? You know, the look on their face, it was just adorable, because so many people have no idea what anything is. They're not explained anything in school anymore. They're not, you know, kids are graduating from high school, they can't even read and write, you know what I mean? And it's sad, you know, because now we have to take care of them, because they can't get a decent job to ever make enough money to take care of a family or anything, because they didn't get an education that they thought they were getting, but they didn't want to. You know, they were lazy and they didn't have to. They passed without even doing squat. And we've let a whole generation, basically almost, get by with doing nothing and getting something for it. And that's why we're seeing the mess that we're seeing, is because we just let it happen. We didn't stop it. We didn't fight for them. And you know, I got grounded if I didn't do certain things, if I didn't make good grades, if I didn't, you know, rake the yard or do things that my dad asked me to do, or my mom. We didn't just get something, you know. We were lucky if we got, you know, a dinner that night, if we didn't do what we were supposed to, or we talked back. Boy, I never did that. That's one thing I never did. But, you know, that's where we are right now. But I am seeing good things starting to happen. I'm starting to see, cracks in the armor, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm thinking that some good things are going to happen here pretty soon. I really do. I just like I said, if we don't see some arrests and people starting to go to court for some of the things that we've seen for the last 4 or 5 years or more, I don't see how people are going to show up at the polls in 2026. So
No,
I'm
but
just
there definitely has to be consequences. And like Stripe always says, there is only one way to take care of these people. Let's give them all steak dinners.
Yep, you're right. Well, what do you have coming up on your channel? I shared your information earlier for your YouTube and for your X account for anybody that wants it, and I'm gonna do it again in the chat. But let us know what you have going on.
The same thing as always. We're going to be doing the toy show on Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, where we're going to talk about some of the toys of the week, stuff that we just picked up, or maybe older stuff we decided we wanted to discuss and review. And then I always bring a lot of the older toys that many of us may have grown up when we were younger. I like to bring them back to the forefront. Sometimes I show stuff off that I completely blow everybody's mind that they didn't even remember. So that's what we do on there. Try to escape all the horrible shit that we see every day. You got to have a little bit of an outlet to have a little bit of fun, and that's what we do on Collectible Past. Just on the toy show, just have a blast.
You always
have
have really cool toys too.
I try to get stuff that means something to me too. I know there's certain collectors out there, they just buy whatever the latest and the greatest is.
Yeah.
I actually try to pick up things that
stuff.
mean something, like something that has a tie to something that I liked when I was younger too. 9 times out of 10, I don't just buy newer stuff just to buy it. I mean, I know there's a lot of guys that do that with their channels. I don't. I want the figure to mean something when I pick it up. I don't know. It's when I was younger, it was kind of that appreciation for everything I got because my parents weren't exactly loaded with money. So every time I got a figure, I cherished it. And a lot of the things that I had from when I was a kid, my father saved. But that's a whole different story. And I still have a bunch of those older ones. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I
it's a
play with
joy
mine
to still have them.
I have a few that are still in the box, and things that I never opened. And I like when I bought my favorite series of comic books is the Midnight Suns. It's 6 comic books and it's a series. I bought that. I had one that I opened and I read and all that stuff, hung the poster on the wall and all that junk. And then I have 6 that they've never been opened. So, we all have something we really like. And that's the kind of stuff I go for. I'm just a lot like that. I go for stuff that I enjoy, that I like, and I don't buy the newer stuff. My stuff, I try to get the old stuff that I had when I was a kid, or my dad had something that was cool, that I thought was neat. But the only thing I have coming up on my channel is tomorrow we'll be playing Bruce's game with the smaller one, not the big one. 6 Nations is one. He's in the chat. He'll be playing with me. I'm pretty sure. I think it's tomorrow. I got mixed up last week and said the wrong game, but I'm pretty sure that's the game we'll play tomorrow. And then Sunday we'll have a Girl, a Guy, and a movie. And I can't remember the name of the movie, but it's a Michael Pear movie. Some B-rate movie I've never seen.
Michael Pare.
Pare, yeah, that's how you say his name. I've never seen the movie, so I really don't know what he showed the trailer for it, but I can't remember what the name of it. I didn't write it down. And then
I don't know. My favorite movie with him is Streets of Fire. Got Willem
That's
Dafoe,
it. I think
Bill
that's
Paxton.
the name of it. I think we're doing that on Sunday.
Oh, that is such a good movie. Such a good
So
movie.
anyone that wants to watch the movie with us on Sunday, we usually start at like 12:30. We watch it live in my Discord. So if you let me know, Streets of Fire. Thank you, Hardwick. I appreciate it. I have such a bad memory about a lot of things. If I don't have a note, I don't remember it. But that's good for people like me that go grocery shopping because I don't buy anything unless it's on my list. So, I save money when I go, I didn't have them on my list, so I didn't buy it. But that's me. And Monday night, I'll be playing The Guardians again on Bear's channel. Bear, the Gen X GM, he's writing his own game. It's called The Guardians. And he has a Patreon where he's putting out new characters and storylines and all the different stuff for his game and the manual and things like that with the rules and everything over there on his Patreon. But he also posts lots of information on his YouTube channel also. And it's a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed playing a superhero because that's basically what the game is about. It's like Pathfinder, but it's all superheroes and fighting villains and things like that. It's been a lot of fun to get to play that. But that's what I have coming up. And then next week, I'm leaving on Wednesday, and I won't be back until the following Sunday because I'm going to Virginia for my nephew's getting married. So
Well, happy travels for that.
yeah, that's why we were worried about the whole shutdown. We didn't know whether or not we were going to have to end up driving to the wedding, and it's what's funny about this wedding. I never heard of such a thing, but we got the stuff in the mail about what the attire is, for the dinner, the dinner before the wedding, the day before the family dinner or whatever it's called, and then you have the wedding, but the dinner, we're supposed to wear cowboy chic. You ever heard of that in your life? I have lived in the South, and I have never heard of it. So I got online, looked it up. There's a place called Dress Barn. Never heard of that place until I started looking it up. And I was like, you got to be kidding. This kind of stuff. People want to wear this to it's like a formal, you're wearing formal Western wear or whatever. So I just thought it was interesting. And the wedding's, really fancy too. It's like, tuxedos and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, so, that's how it is. But so I won't have a, game next week or the shit show or any of that. I won't have any of my stuff going on. I'll just having my normal little shorts and stuff like that. That'll probably be it. And I might make some little videos of stuff that we're doing if it's interesting. I might make a couple videos and do that, but we'll see. We'll see. But thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I really appreciate it. And thank you everyone in the chat for coming and hanging out with us while we talk about some of this. Some of the stuff was pretty interesting things. And it was nice to see some good things starting to happen. I had 5 or 6 good things that I was really happy to see that has been on the news.
Hey, the law of averages says that it can't be bad. And what did they say in The Crow? Can't rain all the time.
That's right. Thank goodness. But thank you, everyone, for hanging out. And I hope you love my little intro or outro video I made. I thought it's really funny. And I hope you guys get a good kick out of it. It's about Christmas cookies. So I hope you guys enjoy it and hang out long enough to at least watch the outro video, see if you like it. Yeah, cowboy chic. Yeah, it was really funny. But so I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And thank you so much. I really appreciate you for supporting us.
Okay, so I came to Walmart today just to see if this was real. See this? Do you see this big box of cookie things? These? And it says product of India. Product of India right there. I don't think you're ready for this. I don't think you're ready for this.
tuyas a tu tienda favorita. Ross, Burlington, Target, Safeway, entre otras.
Okay, so I came to